A cactus is adapted to a very arid environment, a very dry environment. If I took a cactus back to the Midwest where it snows and it's very humid, the cactus will die. Well, we human beings were adapted to ways of eating that our grandparents told us about. And we used to listen to our grandparents. We used to get food traditions from our grandparents, and our grandparents were healthy. But something happened along the way. And what happened in the United States was television, advertising, breakdown of traditional ways of eating, and who gets a place at the table to tell us what to eat? Well, it used to be you listen to your grandmother. You listen to what your ancestors ate. And there was a good reason for that. Because look how healthy my great-grandmother was. Look at, she's 68 here. My great-grandfather was the same age, roughly. And that's me, less than a year old in 1968. This is me at 7. My great-grandmother at 77. My grandmother at 57, the age I am now. And they were healthy people. These were all healthy people. Nobody had a handicap placard. Nobody had joint replacements going up and down the steps at this 1970s graduation, and they were all healthy. And fast forward me getting diabetes in my early 50s. Well, as Pretty Gymnata says, you're a cactus living in a rainforest. You are adapted for a different time. Our bodies are adapted for a higher fat, lower carb, more sporadic way of eating. No one was ever designed to eat every 2 hours. If you go you go camping, you go to a rural area, this is not possible. A friend of mine who was a truck driver mentioned that, going across the United States, you just see fast food after fast food after fast food. And he told me years ago there were family restaurants on the road. It was possible to get a home-cooked meal. Well, that's not possible. It's just not possible anymore. Most of those places have been run out of business. How could my great-grandparents compete with the Hollywood celebrities that were telling me what to eat in my childhood? I had Hollywood celebrities advertising orange juice, advertising fruit juice, advertising cereal, advertising alphabets. I love the Andy Griffith Show, and I was watching an Andy Griffith episode on YouTube where they're pitching alphabets. And of course, as a child, I'm like, Mom, I want alphabets. It's going to help me read, Well, they didn't have alphabets, and look how they live. They didn't get diabetes. I have been loaded with so much fruit juice and crap since I was a little child. Again, too, I was taught, well, fruit juice is healthy. Fruit is healthy. Yes, fruit can be healthy. However, our ancestors didn't have a lot of fruit juice. My great-grandmother had coffee and cream for breakfast. She wasn't mandated to bring in fruit snacks, and look how healthy she was. So when the teachers in the 1970s started telling us to bring in fruit snacks, nobody questioned them. They said, well, the teachers are telling me, the doctors know, da-da-da. Why didn't we listen to our ancestors? Well, there was so much advertising, so much nonsense. But now we can take our power back. There's nothing wrong with us. You don't see a cactus, and you take it to the Midwest and go, oh, this cactus is defective. No, this cactus is in the wrong environment. If you take this to the Midwest, it will die. So you and I are with these great, healthy genes. And if I eat like my ancestors, I'm going to age like my ancestors, and they age so much better than current generations. Now fast forward doing gastric bypasses on 10-year-old children. We've got to turn this around. And again, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just looking at history going, hey, it's your birthright to be healthy. and what has changed. Don't just stand there, do something. That's what I also was taught as a doctor. Got to do something. Don't just do something, stand there, is what they should have done in the 1950s before we said, hey, let's take all the fat out of everybody's diet. And that is what Ansel Keys said in the 1950s, the scientist who was in the military rations world, who changed how we eat and wrecked these traditions that were lovely and health promoting. He said we need to take the fat out of the American diet and the science will come. Well, he knew there was no science behind what he was doing. There was a lot of corporate interest behind what he was doing. I mean, everyone's selling something. But our great-grandparents weren't strangers with candy. Our great-grandparents just wanted us to live. And, they wanted relationships with their children. I look back on the video where I'm drinking Tang in a bottle. It's like diabetes in a bottle. I'm being overloaded. My pancreas is being overloaded with Tang, with sugar. And they didn't say anything. My mother thought she was doing good. I was feeding my children skim milk because I thought I was doing good, because the doctors even told me, and I'm a MD, I'm a true believer. I'm like, I believe the doctors. My mother-in-law, she had wisdom. She said, no, they need whole milk. They need fat. They need a saturated fat to absorb the vitamin D. And I said, oh no, the vegetable oils are just fine. They don't need saturated fat because there's enough fat in the diet with all the vegetable oil, the healthy vegetable oil, which we now know is inflammatory. Great. So listen, old is gold is the theme of my channel. And again, if you go back through old family photos, go back through old family recipes, one of my clients was saying, we laughed at my grandmother eating lard. We laughed at her, and she lived into her 90s. I just talked with a wonderful nurse the other day who was on oxygen, and she is in her mid-40s, and I know what she has sacrificed. She's sacrificed her life, helping other people. Now she's on oxygen in her 40s with a lot of health problems, and she said, my grandmother's 96. She never listened to doctors. She never went to doctors, and she ate all her bacon and eggs. She didn't care. And sadly, not doctors, lawyers, and police, people to avoid. Horrible, isn't it? But I meant well as a doctor, but my good intentions were stolen. And I want to try and bring those back. And there's nothing wrong with you. It's what's wrong, what we've been through, and we've been gaslit about how to eat. So this is Dr. Sarita. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video.